Africa stands at the edge of history. Once again, the winds of revolution, long stilled, are sweeping across her plains. In the heart of West Africa, in the landlocked nation of Burkina Faso, a new flame has been lit. And at the center of this firestorm stands a young, enigmatic leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. But what if I told you, behind the scenes, in the shadows, where influence, whispers, and fortunes are moved like chess pieces, a message was sent, not from a politician, not from a general, but from a man whose name no one knows, yet whose wealth could shape nations. This is the story of a silent guardian, a Nigerian billionaire cloaked in anonymity whose only motive is the preservation of something greater than himself, the African spirit rising. The message? Simple, powerful, unforgettable. Your revolution is protected. Among Africa's elite, power wears many faces. Some sit in presidential palaces, others in boardrooms above Lagos, Nairobi, and Johannesburg. And then there are those who operate in silence, unknown to the public, unseen on camera, but whose decisions ripple through economies and parliaments. This Nigerian billionaire belongs to that final group, a man whose fortune was built not on oil nor politics, but on vision, investments in infrastructure, technology, logistics. He once said in a closed-door forum, "The future of Africa isn't in aid, it's in audacity." Sources close to Pan-African networks claim this billionaire had been monitoring Ibrahim Traoré long before the world turned its attention to Burkina Faso. Traoré's rise, his rejection of neo-colonial control, his grassroots strength, they were sparks in a continent begging for a blaze. And when that blaze ignited, this billionaire knew. It was time to step from the shadows, not to lead, but to protect, encrypted, discreet, delivered through a trusted emissary operating across West African borders. The message began with a story, a tale from 1983, when a young Thomas Sankara stood defiant, his eyes blazing with a dream. "They silenced Sankara," the message read, but the silence only echoed louder. It then turned to Traoré. "Captain, your fire reminds me of what Africa was meant to be. I have watched you defy the hands that fed your predecessors. I have seen you walk alone, with lions at your gate. But know this, you are not alone. I cannot stand beside you in public, but I can stand around you in spirit, resources, and reach. Your revolution is protected." Speculation runs wild. Some believe he is a reclusive tech mogul who operates through shell companies registered in Dubai and Mauritius. Others suspect he is a former military man turned industrialist with deep ties to retired generals across ECOWAS. But those close to Nigerian media circles whisper that this billionaire has no political ambitions. In fact, he loathes politics. His concern? The soul of the continent. An investigative journalist once caught a glimpse of him in Senegal during a closed-door Pan-African investment summit. Dressed in plain clothing, he spoke for just 2 minutes. "If we don't protect our revolutionaries, our children will grow up as beggars in their own land." He vanished before the cameras rolled. Captain Traoré is part of a new generation. They do not come from elite families. They do not serve Western interests. They speak in the language of the people, and they act with a clarity that unsettles the old guard. Across Africa, youths chant his name. In Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, and even the diaspora, his face appears on murals, his speech is sampled in hip-hop tracks, his resolve compared to Sankara, Lumumba, and Nkrumah. And yet, Traoré is not without enemies. His boldness has made him a target. This is where the billionaire steps in. Through a series of proxy investments, anonymous donations, and private intelligence collaborations, he shields Traoré from the unseen forces that once toppled giants. A cyber attack from abroad? Neutralized. A financial blockade? Circumvented through a covert network of African-owned trade corridors. It is said that 1 month before a major international sanction was to be placed on Burkina Faso, a mysterious $50 million investment was funneled into a sovereign wealth initiative through clean channels, through trusted African entities. Africa has always produced dreamers. But for every Nkrumah, there was a coup. For every Sankara, a bullet. For every Lumumba, a betrayal. This billionaire wants to break the cycle. He once wrote in a private memo, "Africa does not lack heroes. It lacks shields." That is why this message to Traoré matters. Because for the first time, the revolution has both a sword and a shield. And while the world debates the morality of military takeovers and sovereign resistance, ordinary Africans know one truth. Freedom is never given. It is taken, and it is protected. Western powers continue to scrutinize Traoré. Media houses question his legitimacy. Intelligence agencies move quietly. Mercenaries lurk in the shadows. But what they didn't anticipate was a counterforce. Not of tanks, but of transactions. Not of protests, but of precision. Through advanced financial instruments, the billionaire has ensured that Traoré's Burkina Faso doesn't collapse economically. Tech startups in Ouagadougou are being funded, young Pan-African scholars are receiving scholarships, grain reserves are being stocked. Burkina Faso is not just surviving, it is evolving. The billionaire, still nameless, is in his late 60s. He knows he will not see the Africa of his dreams fully formed. But he believes Traoré is the spark that will ignite the next 100 years. His final words in the message: "Captain, when history writes of this time, they will ask, how did one young man hold off the giants? Tell them, he did not stand alone. I stand with you, not as a man of wealth, but as a son of Africa. May your courage inspire 1,000 more. May your revolution remain protected." Somewhere in Abuja, Lagos, or perhaps a quiet compound in Calabar, the billionaire watches the headlines. He does not need fame. He does not want credit. His reward is knowing that for once, Africa's revolution might not die with its leader, because for once, the revolution is protected.